and welcome to the Tantrum House Board Game Show. We're your hosts, I'm Will Meadows.
And I'm Jonah and Will, and we are in the middle of prime board game convention season right now, so there's plenty to talk about in this episode.
Gen Con literally just ended yesterday, and there were tons of new releases, announcements, and previews of exciting things on the horizon.
Yeah, and Essen Spiel is just around the corner, and it'll be here before we know it.
So what are we waiting for? Let's get rolling!
Thank you for joining us here today at Tantrum House Studio 3.
Today we're bringing you some of the hobby's hottest news.
Yeah, we're going to take a look at three categories. We're going to do board games just announced, board game conventions and trivia, and what's on shelves now at your local board game store. Pandasaurus Games just announced The Wolves, coming straight to retail on October 26th.
The Wolves is a pack-building strategy game for 2 to 5 players. It's a survival of the fittest as you compete to build the largest, most dominant pack by claiming territory, recruiting lone wolves, and hunting prey. Be careful not to expand too recklessly into the terrain where your rivals thrive. They may lure members of your pack away.
Yeah, and if you're going to be at Essen Spiel, the board game convention in Essen, Germany, Pandasaurus is planning to have early access copies to sell, with, of course, barring any shipping crises.
You never know. Final Frontier just announced Merchant's Cove Mastercraft, which is the big box expansion for the critically acclaimed game Merchant's Cove.
Yeah, so contained in this treasure trove of content are 4 new expert level merchants, a new core game expansion, the Faction Festival, and new modular content like new rogues, new townsfolk, and much more. In addition to the new merchants, the Faction Festival also expands the game in a substantial way. A new board is connected to the bottom of the main board, adding tracks for each of the factions, and brand new mechanisms for each faction to use. The wizards will enchant your goods to make them worth more, while the rogues will help you frame the other players, letting you get rid of corruption by planning it on your opponents. Ooh. This game is coming soon to Kickstarter.
Normally you gotta watch out for those rogues. Those guys, trouble. Burnt Island Games and Grand Gamers Guild are announcing Endeavor Deep Sea.
This is special. I love this. My family loves this game. Mom, listen up. Listen to
That's
this
right,
one.
Mom, listen up. In Endeavor Deep Sea, you head an independent research institute with the goal of developing sustainable projects and preserving the fragile balance of marine life. Throughout the game, you'll recruit field experts and use their abilities to explore new locations, research dive sites, publish critical ecological papers, and launch conservation efforts. The game is set to launch in January 2023. So it's the middle of board game convention season, and in fact, a few representatives from Tantrum House are on their way back from Gen Con right now, heading back from Indianapolis.
That's right. And speaking of Gen Con, why don't you go ahead and tell everyone where Gen Con actually originated? And I'll give you a hint. It wasn't Indianapolis.
Are you trying to set me up for this?
Here we go.
I think it's Geneva? Wisconsin, maybe? Something like that?
Definitely Wisconsin.
That's
crazy.
Geneva, so that's where the Gen Con came from.
Oh,
and
okay.
I think one of the original creators is like the co-creator of Dungeons and Dragons, so all kinds of history and richness going on.
Oh,
I came ready.
Okay, I actually did not think that you were going to get that.
I Googled it.
Oh, okay.
You gotta look up these things.
Here we go.
Who knew? And did you know that we've got the Tantrum House party coming up?
Of course I knew that. Why wouldn't I know that?
You would know it. It's good. I'm glad you do it.
Last year we had so many people who joined us. We did games and prizes and interactive competitions for everyone who was excited to join us on Zoom and YouTube. But if you're trying to prove that you're more of a board gamer than I am,
with the Geneva action in there,
okay, that's fine. We'll then put 10 fingers up. How about this?
All right, 10 fingers.
Okay, so put a finger down if you've backed more than 5 games on Kickstarter.
Easy. Definitely.
Definitely?
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, it's been decades.
Okay, no problem. What about put a finger down if you still have games in shrink on your shelf?
Oh, I mean, I got to. I have to. Yeah.
Whoa.
I got 2 copies of Green Team Win, so I played one. One is still in shrink.
Goodness.
It's going to be a gift ready to give.
Speaking of Gen Con, I heard that game was very popular. Green Team Wins from 25th Century.
Yeah.
Okay, what about if you've ever bought yourself a board game for Christmas?
Myself?
Yeah, that's a finger down for me.
I think I bought like Sarah a board game that I wanted. Is that the same thing?
Nope.
I didn't wrap it and put my own name on it.
Nope. We're tied up. Here we go. Put a finger down if you've ever been to a board game convention.
Oh, yes.
Okay? Put a finger down if you'd rather watch Rodney Smith than read the instruction book.
100%. Are you playing along at home? How many fingers you got up?
Put a finger down if you have more than one board gaming podcast on your phone.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, all right.
Treasure House plus numerous.
Okay.
Rolling
Put a
dice.
finger down if you brought more than 3 games to your last board game night.
3 bags of games.
Okay. I was down on this hand. I'm back here, and I'm down to 4. Okay.
Yeah.
Put a finger down if your gaming group saves your player color for you.
Blue all the way. Come on, baby. That's right.
Okay.
Do we even know you're playing? Did you put a finger down?
I did put a finger down.
Okay.
You might not know my player color, but everybody else does. All right, calm down.
Good job, everybody.
Calm down. Okay, put a finger down if you've ever had to say no. Not like Monopoly.
Literally last week.
Okay, and put a finger down if the board game section at Target is a regular stop.
If I'm at Target, I'm regularly stopping there.
I
go to Target.
This is also true. I was gonna put a finger down, but then I was like, I don't actually go to Target.
When I am there, it's
Yeah.
like a half finger. I'm definitely going to the board game section if I'm at Target. I'm not going to Target.
Oh man, I had 2.5 left.
Yeah, we're at 1.5.
1.5? Oh,
was that it?
Good, that was it.
We're not real board gamers. Did you get all 10? What happened?
Our last segment for today is On Shelves Now.
We want to share with you a couple of the games that are hitting friendly local board game store shelves right now.
Yeah, the first up is The Eternal Palace from Alley Cat Games. The palace has fallen into disrepair, and as the leader of a noble house seeking the favor of the emperor, you plan to aid in its reconstruction. Collect the materials you need to contribute to rebuilding the palace monuments, and commemorate the restoration by creating a powerful painting of his beloved gardens.
In the game, workers are represented by dice, and you'll be placing them to contribute towards rebuilding the different parts of the palace. This is a highly interactive Euro with many of the locations on the buildings giving players abilities to gain an edge over their opponents by completing tasks first, or completing more of the monuments to earn tokens, reflecting their overall efforts.
Mythic Games kickstarted Super Fantasy Brawl a few years ago, and now that backers have received their copies, you should be able to get a hold of a copy on the Mythic website.
They're not actually on shelves, but now available.
Well, right. Well, Super Fantasy Brawl is popular, and it's a fast-paced, competitive miniature board game. Players select a team of 3 champions by reaching back into the timelines of history to pluck out the finest warriors from every civilization in order to compete against each other.
Now, I don't know if all of these will be available, but there are a number of expansions that should be releasing with the game, including Force of Nature, Art of War, Hot Trick, and Mental Might. Check them all out.
You've conquered the stars in Cosmic Encounter. You've weathered storms, forged alliances, and engaged in countless conflicts. What's next? Well, friends, this comes next, and it's going to be epic.
Cosmic Odyssey is the new massive expansion to the classic game from Fantasy Flight Games. Cosmic Odyssey brings loads of aliens, variants, and brand new campaign modes to the table. This 7th expansion is the biggest yet and introduces a campaign mode, 30 new aliens, 12 alternate timelines, a new space station, technologies, and hazards. It also features the new Lux and Moon features. Cosmic fans will not want to miss this one. I'm looking at you, Chris.
It's a Wonderful Kingdom, which we actually just took a look on our latest Saturday morning board game show, is a standalone solo or 2-player game inspired by the core mechanics of its predecessor, It's a Wonderful World. This new game offers more interaction, a bluff mechanism, and new challenges. The game is played using modules, each different and offering mechanical twists.
The players take turns offering cards to one another from their hand using an I split you choose mechanic. They'll choose one of their opponent's offerings and then make an offering of their own. After 4 rounds, the player who has earned the most victory points is the winner and is crowned the ruler of the Wonderful Kingdom.
So, you've been eaten?
I hope not.
Don't worry, this is just one of the occupational hazards you'll face in the new game from Ludi Creations. In fact, it's a fairly common saying among deep space miners, apparently, since the crystals that you seek happen to be inside of giant space beasts.
As a miner, should you achieve your objective and meet your quota, it is then cost effective to extricate you. In the event that the beast digests you, though, do not despair. Your non-organic parts will certainly be useful to future miners. And so you've been eaten. The miners and the beast face off against one another. The miner earns points by collecting crystals, and the beast earns points by developing immune responses and basically digesting the miner. The miner wins instantly by collecting all 8 different crystals, and the beast wins by digesting his miner. Of course, there's always the possibility that the miner will simply pass through the beast's system, in which case the player with the most points would win.
Apparently, this is for 0 to 2 players.
0? How's that a thing?
I'm not exactly sure, but apparently there's a mode where there are 0 players with a sleeping beast against a robot miner.
Are we watching it play itself with that AI to the next level? The robots are taking over.
I don't know. Because it says 0 players, I feel like now we have to get it.
Be sure to check that one out. Also, be sure to check out our Tantrum House house party. You can learn more about that at tantrumhouse.com/house_party.
Yeah, and let us know how much of a board gamer you are.
Did you get all 10? Thanks so much for tuning in, and as always, remember,
you heard it here first.
Got it, we did it. Another news in the books. Time to go live. Throughout the game, you'll recruit field experts. Field? This can't be copy. It can't be a word. Field experts.
This is copy paste.
I'm an expert in the field.
You gotta be field.
Gotta be field. Alright.
I obviously did.
I don't know what in states is either. I feel like that's
know.
messed up too.
It probably is.
Here we go.
Since we're messing
Thank
things
you,
up.
script.
The palace has fallen into disrepair.
Disrespect.